Hello, everyone. This is Rich Canavez, the local organizer for Keweenaw Indivisible. At Keweenaw Indivisible, we're always learning how best to support and defend our local community and speak truth to power, especially as administration policies continue to threaten harm to our community's most vulnerable people. We haven't been overly vocal about this effort because it was always work in progress. We wanted to be sure about when this would be publicly discussed and whether any changes that had to be made were complete so we didn't accidentally mislead people. I hope to clarify things for you tonight. A few weeks ago, we put forward a resolution to the County Board of Commissioners that pushed them to publicly declare that the services and infrastructure we pay for with our taxes and maintain through our shared efforts are for our community and not for ICE to enforce federal immigration law locally. That resolution was initially set to be presented and publicly discussed at the April 14th, 2026 meeting. The objective of the resolution was to communicate a sense of safety to all of our members, especially our immigrant community, regardless of their documented status. We still believe in every word in that resolution, and we still believe in what it says to our immigrant community. In response to our resolution, the Copper Country Republicans put forward an opposing resolution that pushed the commissioners to publicly state their commitment to complying with federal law, including the assurance that we will not interfere with federal immigration enforcement. At the behest of a bipartisan pair of the commissioners, Sheriff Josh Saarinen convened a meeting between us, key KI leaders and valuable members to the effort, and a group of Copper Country Republicans. While Sheriff Saarinen understood the strength of our resolution, he was upfront with both of our groups about his objective in bringing this meeting together: to mediate a shared solution so that neither resolution would have to go to public board vote. If both resolutions went to public discussion at the board meeting and ultimately a vote, it is likely that both resolutions were going to be voted down. Additionally, the discussion and vote could potentially ignite a media frenzy. So, Sheriff Saarinen pushed our parties to find a shared solution that could capture how our community felt. And perhaps to my surprise, may have found common ground. We both want a safe community. We both want a community where people feel like they can be part of our culture, our healthcare, our education, and we both want our community members to feel like they have a stake in making our community safe for all. For us, for all means all, regardless of immigration status. Both sides agreed to pull our resolutions, and right now we're in the midst of building a shared, nonpartisan solution. Sheriff Saarinen will publicly state and clarify local law enforcement's commitment to law and to our local community, including its immigrant population. Both sides will affirm our support of the sheriff and his desire to instill confidence in our community in a formal letter to be read at the April Board of County Commissioners meeting, and why we came together to make this shared statement. How will this next phase unfold? We're working on the formal letter of public support in response to Sheriff Saarinen's letter that lives up to our objective: to communicate safety and inclusion to all of our community, including our immigrant population, regardless of status. We're cautiously optimistic. There's so much potential for good to come out of this, even if it isn't what we imagined initially. Submitting this resolution brought the issue of perceived lack of community safety to the forefront of our community leaders, necessitated a public statement to reaffirm our collective commitment to the U.S. Constitution, and brought two polar opposite groups together to find common ground. There are a lot of wins to be grateful for already. But remember that first and foremost is our commitment to our community's most vulnerable and targeted people, ahead of any resolutions or public statements we can push or persuade our institutions to make. And to that end, this approach may be even more powerful to tell them that they are a part of our wonderful community, and that they should feel safe here. But ultimately, time will tell. So that's what's going on. We're always trying to figure out the best way to meet our calling, to stand up for what's right, both locally and beyond. And sometimes that requires adaptation, flexibility, and trying to find common ground. Thank you for your time, and have a good evening.